Hi, I'm Alexis, welcome to Alexis Guitars and welcome to part 3 of my Great Guitar Build Off 2021 scratch build. So this episode is a bit of a mixed bag. Some things turned out great, other things didn't go so smoothly. All in all, it was a lot of fun and I tried some new things, I learned a lot, and despite there being some mistakes or some things that didn't go too well, particularly with applying the veneer to the body, as you'll see in this video, I'm really happy with how the guitar is looking. So episode 1 I made the guitar body, episode 2 I made the guitar neck, or most of it at least, and in this episode I focused mainly on the guitar body again, getting it to a stage where it's pretty much ready for finishing. Quite a lot actually gets covered in this video, so I think let's just get straight to it, on with the show. So I've got the neck in, and unfortunately you can see there's a bit of wiggle. Not a problem, I just need a little shim in there. What I am happy about is that I've managed to chisel, let's take this out, I managed to chisel the edges. Here you can kind of see there's a nice connection right at the back with the edge of the neck pocket, so when I get a shim in the sides, it should be a nice tight fit. As for here underneath, that's also looking pretty good. Okay, so here is the guitar body currently. So I've got the neck pocket, it's about 15.5 millimeters deep. It needs to be a little bit deeper. I'm going to try and aim for 16, maybe 16.5 because I've got quite a thick neck. But I'll do that at a later stage. For now, this is workable and I wanted to get the basic shape of the neck pocket sorted before I do the veneer. So speaking of veneers, I'll show you what I've got planned. Enter some, let's get that in, beautiful flame maple veneer. It's big enough for the whole guitar, as you can see, maybe just a tiny bit there, and it's lovely. I know it's just a veneer, but it's got this beautiful 3D effect as you move around. It does that beautiful thing that flame maple does that we all love. So I'm going to glue this on. This is going to be my top. So, annoyingly, it didn't go perfectly well. There's a big wrinkle here in the middle, and there's a few smaller ones here. So I need to decide, shall I just go with it and sand it down and see if I can repair it, and see if I can repair any of these by filling it in? Or, I mean, I need to sand it down anyway if I want to start fresh, but that's the thing, or do I start fresh? Okay, didn't go too well, but that's my first ever veneer application, so we'll see. Which really sucks because if it had been flat, this would look fantastic. This looks lovely. So quick update on the veneer. It did not go well, but I'm still happy. Let me explain. So when I unclamped it, I noticed straight away that there were all of these ugly ripples, and that's because I assume it's because I used way too much glue, and that water content from the wood glue just warped the veneer. That's a very probable possibility because I used way too much glue. I realized as soon as I did it. The other option of what went wrong was I attempted this technique, which I may have just misunderstood from watching YouTube videos, of in between the flat thing that pushes the veneer down, putting a piece of foam or something that can compress. And the idea is that's meant to push out all of the air bubbles. Maybe I just misinterpreted it, or I used the wrong bit of foam, or I just did it wrong because it was my first attempt at this. The other thing that could have gone wrong is simply my clamping. Maybe I just didn't clamp it well enough. Either way, I had all of these ripples. So what I did was I sanded it all down. I used one of these, what's this called, sanding machine thing, and kind of flattened it all out. I also sanded by hand as well, and that obviously all of those ripples were sanded flat, which revealed in some places a bit of glue, but thankfully in most places there's still lots of nice veneer left. And I just went over this with a wet cloth. Actually, let me do that now, a damp cloth rather, and yeah, you can see there's still loads of lovely flame in there. So I'm gonna keep it. I was thinking about, do I just sand this all away, because these lines are gonna show. If anything, with the with the finish, it's gonna show even more. But I thought, actually, I quite like it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm no perfectionist with this stuff. I'm happy to have some imperfections and signs of my learning process, so that's fine by me. And there's still plenty of nice flame in this veneer, so I'm gonna go ahead with it. Now, before I get all the angry comments, I know I ruined a nice piece of veneer, and also there was a beautiful outer top on this anyway, so did it even need a veneer? I'm countering that with, I still like how it looks, so I don't really mind, and also I'm learning. So this is all a learn process. This is a guinea pig guitar, and I've just got to take it from there. Main thing is, I've still got loads of nice flame. I'm going to contour this. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting guitar in the end of this. So really coming together now. As you can see, I've routed out the two pickup cavities. Happy with that. It's a pretty neat job. The only tricky bit was that my router bit is quite wide here. So getting into these little corners, especially here and down there, was difficult with this. I basically couldn't do it. So I had to get a thinner router bit, which didn't have one of these metal, what are these metal rings called? And that meant that the edges are a little bit freehand here in the corners, I mean. So I might need to just kind of get a file and neaten those up a little bit, but generally it's a pretty neat job, apart from this little circle here when I plunged in. But generally it's a pretty neat job, like I said, and I'm happy with that. It's really taking shape, which is so exciting to see, but there's still a lot to do. So moving on to the electronics cavity now. So if you've seen part 1 of this build, you would know that I made about 3 or 4 different templates. Now, one was just the main one for cutting out the main shape of the guitar, of the body that is, and I had a couple other spares, and this is one of them, and I thought it would be a good idea for future builds if I mark out where the pickup cavities go, rough idea where the neck goes, although I have a separate neck template which I'll probably be using, and I thought it would be a good idea to have the electronics cavity on the same one. So this shape here, I just got a standard Les Paul style template for a electronics cavity. I kind of flipped it around and made it my own in terms of I didn't need all of the same shapes, so I flattened it out so I have more space in here. And I'm going to cut it out on this template, stick this on the back of my guitar body and use this as my template for routing. Please, 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 please. Yes! Right there, right in the middle. Perfect. Oh, this, I can't really show you, it's too dark. Yeah, there you go. So making more progress, I've got the hole for the volume knob, tone knob and the mini selector switch all drilled out. What I need to do now is drill out the slot for the three-way selector switch blade. And to do that, I've got this Strat pick guard, and I'm going to use this for the, basically as my template for where to drill the holes for the screws and the hole for the slot. So, don't particularly like doing this job, but I've got a really thin router bit there, and I've lined up my straight edge, got it glued on with a super glue masking tape trick, and angled it so that this, I'm trying to do this one-handed, there we go, angled it so that if I just glide it along, it will route my selector switch slot. So that actually went pretty well. I've got my ET shape here, which is a good sign, and got everything drilled out. The main thing I need to do now is see whether I've drilled the electronics pocket deep enough. So it's time. I've been waiting for this and I've been dreading this at the same time. I'm going to be doing the contours now. Got my Shinto rasp and drawn out where I'm going to be cutting out, and even on the sides as well, just so I've got a guide what to aim for. I'm going to narrow it up a little bit here and then deepen it as well there. Also up here, I'm going to be doing something to help some higher fret access, and I think it's just going to manipulate the shape in a way which I think will make it a bit more interesting. It's also going to reveal a lot of the beautiful outer that's underneath this this veneer. Alright, I'm going to stop procrastinating and just got to do it now. Okay, so the first bit of carving, the main bit, is done, and I'm super happy. But still need some fine tuning to get the basically the edge, the line, a bit smoother. But I think that's really brought the shape to life, and you can see a lot of the flame from the maple here in the sun. I'm really happy with this. I think it's going to be a really cool looking guitar. Got the cutaway here for some higher fret access, and I just kind of put my hand on it and it feels so comfortable. And up here, let me try and move around so you get a few different shots. Yeah, I just think that the carving has just, the contouring has just brought the shape to life, really. It's just manipulated in such a way that just makes it more interesting. So a very quick update. I didn't actually film the process of me doing this, but I've added the first maple veneer onto the headstock. Not the neatest job up here in terms of how straight it is, but it's actually pretty flat. So I'm happy with that. It's about 13.23 millimeters, so I need another veneer just to get it up to about 14 or so, and then I can straighten it all up. Okay, so the second maple veneer is clamped down. I've used the same technique where I have a piece of foam in between the veneer and the piece of wood that's being used to clamp it down flat, and I can only hope that this one went as well as the first one. I think I'll unclamp it in a couple of hours and see what the damage is. Great. Hey, that turned out pretty good. That's smooth. Lovely. Okay. So, I just need to basically cut off the excess, trim it down to this headstock. Might give it a quick sand to flatten it out. And actually, let's see what the thickness is. It's now 14.1 over here. 14.0 something over here, 02-ish. 14.1 over here. 14 over here as well. Okay, so it's about 14 all round. I'm happy with that. And great. Okay, so the electronics cavity is pretty much finished. I've just routed down space for a backplate to go so it sits flush with the body. I haven't made a backplate yet, but I've been using this template. Well, I say template, this is a backplate from another guitar of mine, and that fits in. Oops, which way does it go? This way? There we go. That fits in fairly nicely. There's some room to, there's some extra space here on the sides. I don't really mind, to be honest. I'm never good at making this job. What I've done now, I've actually ordered myself a backplate template, and that's a template for the actual backplate itself, for the main cavity, and also the whatever this is called, just so it sits flush. So for my next build, I should be able to get a nice neat job, but me making my own, no way. So in terms of the body, it's pretty much good to go. The only things that need to happen, I need to make myself a backplate and draw the holes so they screw down. Oops, not there, here. And I also need to install the strap locks, one there and one on the upper horn up here. Once that's done, it's good to go. Just needs to be finished. Finished in a sense of adding the stain, and still deciding what to use as the protection, as the finishing layer, whether I use oil or whether I use some kind of lacquer, which I can find in my local hardware store. We'll see. So here's my backplate. This was just a spare bit of wood I had. I don't know what it is. It looks nice, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the guitar body. So I'm going to put a veneer on top of this, I think. I'll see how it looks when it's actually finished, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to put a maple veneer on top and dye it whatever stain I use for the front of the body. So I've stuck it down to this bit of chipboard, which is on my little bench thing here. and I'm going to stick a straight edge on the end and just go at it with a router. So here it is. Still got it glued onto my template backplate thing, but that's pretty much it. And it's quite rough on the edges because this is such a thin backplate and it shouldn't really be used as a template, but I used one anyway. But it just meant that the edges are a little bit rough, so I need to sand it down, smoothing it out. And also, this is super thick, so I'm going to need to, don't know if I'm just going to get the belt sander and just try and get it down that way. Or, actually no, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Cool. Well, here we are. Like I said in the intro, this episode consists of lots of little jobs, but at the end of it, I've got this. The body is almost ready for finishing, and I really like how it turned out. I know that this might split the audience, and some people might think that this looks atrocious with these rips going down the middle with these streaks of glue. Others, like me, might think it actually looks pretty cool, albeit not as cool as if it had worked out properly. But as I said, despite these things, I really like how it looks, and I can't wait to get some stain and finish on this. Now I have two options. I could just leave it as it is because I am planning on staining this an amber color anyway, so that amber might kind of match this glue color and, you know, it might not look too off. The other option is to carefully scrape away the glue and try and fill those gaps with bits of sanding dust. I'm not too keen on this idea because it's just going to replace one streak with another, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do. The thing that makes the guitar body really interesting, at least to me, is the contour. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was a lot of fun to do, I really enjoyed it, and what I love is that it brought out all of this beautiful alder which is underneath the veneer. The other job I worked on, which I'm really happy with, is the headstock. Now I put 2 veneers on this to get it to the right thickness, and the veneer application for the neck was a lot better, a lot more successful I should say, than the body. It's nice and flat. I need to do a bit of sanding to smoothen out this slopey bit here where it kind of goes up towards the fretboard. But all in all, I'm really happy with it, and I think it's going to look really cool when I stain it the same color as the body. So that brings me on nicely to talking about the next steps. Now next episode is going to be focused a lot on the neck, basically getting this almost ready neck into a fully functioning one. So I'm going to be fretting this, I'm going to be leveling the frets, dressing them, crowning them, getting them nice and even and smooth and polished. I need to install the nuts, and as you can see the headstock is a bit empty at the moment. I need to drill the holes and install the tuners. There's a couple other little jobs that need doing. I'm not sure if I'll do that for next episode or the episode after, but there's a few little dings and dents in the body which need filling, so that might be a quick job. Oh, one other thing which I didn't quite finish in this episode is the backplate. It's pretty much ready. As I speak, the veneer is being glued onto it, so by next episode it'll be ready. So if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and drop me a comment below. If you enjoy content like this and haven't done already, please do consider subscribing. So I'll leave that there for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. That's all from me for now. Till next time.